I would like to welcome you to the info session on the graduate programs at Colorado State University. We are in the Department of Construction Management. A little bit of introduction. Here on the left side, you can see our department head, Dr. Mehmet Ozbek, who is also professor in the program. On the right side is Ashlyn Bright, who is a person behind the CM graduate advising email and most likely responded to your initial inquiries about our programs. And then I am Svetlana Olbina. I am an associate professor in the department, and I also serve as a graduate program coordinator. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I got my undergrad and master's degrees in architecture from University of Belgrade in Serbia. And I worked in industry for several years, and then I decided to shift in academia and teach. So I moved to the United States 25 years ago to do PhD at Virginia Tech in building construction. And after that, I taught at the University of Florida for 11 years. And this is my 11th year here at Colorado State. So this is our agenda. I was planning to take about 30 minutes to introduce our programs, and then we'll open the remaining 30 minutes for the questions that you may have. So since you may have come from different disciplines than construction management, I would like to explain what construction management is very briefly, like one slide. And then talk about two graduate programs that we offer. We have Masters of Science in Construction Management and collaborative PhD with the Department of Civil Engineering that focuses on construction engineering and management. I would also like to inform you about research opportunities that you will have if you join our program. And then probably the most important part today is about application process. How do you apply? We also have some funding opportunities for students that are admitted to the program. And then at the end, when you graduate and if you like to work in the United States, I will show you some possible career paths. So starting with a short explanation of what construction management is. It's in general planning and coordination and execution of construction tasks and also control of the construction project in order to bring the project from the start, inception, to the final completion. Typically, construction managers work with design teams such as architects, civil engineers, and then also mechanical engineers, sustainability consultants, to bring that vision of the owner, that idea of a building to the reality. Several buildings are often very complex, so throughout that process, our construction team needs to be very creative to solve these problems and construct these state-of-art facilities. So about two of the programs that we have, I will first talk about Masters of Science in Construction Management. And we have two major plans, and both of them are research oriented. We don't offer at the moment only coursework type of the master's program. So we have two programs. One is called Plan A and another one Plan B. And then for Plan A, we include research work that leads towards the thesis. This plan requires completion of the 30 credit hours. And among these 30 credit hours, you will take normally 8 classes. Each class is 3 credits. And of these 8 courses, 5 will be required or core courses. And then 3 courses are electives. These are courses that you will select with your advisors. And they will normally help you to complete your research or help you get better rounded in construction management area. In the last 2 semesters of your master's program, you will work on your thesis research. So you will take 3 credits in the last fall and 3 credits in the last spring semester to complete your research. If you decide to work on Plan B, which is professional paper, we will also need to complete 30 credits. However, In this plan, you will have more coursework versus thesis or research credits. So you will take 9 3-credit-hour courses, and similar to Plan A, 5 classes will be core or required, and then the remaining 4 will be electives. And then in your last semester, you will spend 3 credit hours working on your professional paper research. Typically, for our students, what we saw throughout the time is that they take about 3 to 4 semesters to complete master's program. Sometimes our students are coming from different disciplines. They will have undergrad in the architecture or civil engineering or maybe mechanical engineering. So in the case they're coming from backgrounds that are different than construction management, and they haven't had these 4 classes in their undergrad curriculum, we will recommend that they take these classes. So these are plan reading and quantity takeoff, estimating of construction cost, construction contracts, and then scheduling of construction time. Most commonly, the students that come from abroad will take contracts and scheduling, especially if they want to stay in the United States and work for a construction company. This knowledge is very beneficial since it's a little bit different than from their home countries. For the PhD that we have in collaboration with civil engineering, focus is on construction engineering and management. So again, something that closely relates to our department. If you finish a PhD in construction engineering and management, you will be well prepared for academic positions. If you want to be a professor in the construction management department or even civil engineering department, this is a good path. Some of our former PhD students also work for consulting firms, so that's another option job-wise. As you can expect at the PhD level, there is a lot of research, so it's heavily research-oriented program, and research has to be innovative, something that nobody else did before you, and your research will contribute significantly to the body of knowledge. Since this program is a collaboration between 2 departments, you will have 2 co-advisors. One will be from construction management and another one from civil engineering. And similarly, your coursework will be in both departments, construction management and then civil engineering. During your PhD, you will take 2 exams. They're big exams. Qualifying is happening typically in the 3rd semester, and it's related to the coursework. We want to make sure that our graduates are able to teach in construction management programs or civil engineering programs. So exam is really about coursework that they took so far. And then somewhere in the 3rd year, typically, our students will take preliminary exam, which is basically research proposal for your dissertation research, and then you present that proposal to your committee in the format of the preliminary exam. Most likely, it will take students 3 to 4 years to complete this PhD. So we have about 21 faculty in our department, and half of this faculty are only teaching faculty, which means they teach and they don't conduct research. And then the remaining 11 faculty, also, I would say half, are conducting research and they're advising graduate students. These are some major areas that we conduct research in. It doesn't mean that you have to fit 100% in these areas, but just to give you an idea what do we do research in. So construction education and related to that for workforce development. Several faculty do research on construction technology. One example is virtual design and construction. We have people working on laser scanning and drones and robotics, so a lot of implementation of construction technology. We also have faculty working on infrastructure systems, traditional project delivery and management, and alternative new methods of project delivery. And then last but not least, sustainable construction and resilience. More specifically, if you look at the profiles of our faculty, they will do research on construction productivity, very important in our field, visualization, such as virtual design and construction or building information modeling, extended reality that includes virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality. Several faculty are in the area of construction safety and health. We have a new faculty that just started this year that is heavily involved in research on construction automation and robotics. We have faculty working on sustainable infrastructure, including bridge inspection and maintenance. And very important topic recently is prefabrication or off-site and modular construction. And we also have faculty focusing on construction finance. These are some of our faculty in action. You can see here on the left side, on the upper left side, Dr. Rodolfo Valdez Vasquez, who is our expert on construction education. Here in the middle, Dr. Jiu Zin, who is faculty who does research on the construction safety. Dr. Mehmet Özbek is giving a keynote talk on Future World Vision project by American Society of Civil Engineers. And then here on the left side, I'm working with my students on virtual reality. Also, I'd like to share with you some of our graduate students that were presenting at the research day in our college or at the conferences. So here on the upper left side, Shantanu is presenting his research on sustainability, and he was a PhD student in our program and is currently a faculty at Cal Poly. In the middle here, we have Jazz, who is working on digital twins and model-based estimating. Papa, I know we have some attendees from Ghana. Papa is from Ghana originally. He did very interesting research on machine learning and bridge inspection. And then here on the lower left side, Awe, who is from Ethiopia, he did research. He's doing actually research on material science, particularly sustainable concrete. And then on the lower right side, we have Denise, who is originally from Turkey. She did research in facilities management and is now faculty at Purdue University. So we have really good placement of our students when they graduate. Our faculty in our department, as compared maybe to some other departments, conduct mostly applied research, which means we are doing research that is applicable to industry problems. And when we mentor students, our job is also to help students learn how to write a journal or conference paper. So we normally co-author papers and have our students present at the conferences or submit it to the journal. We regularly meet with our students. I can say that I meet with my students every week for an hour. And last year I had about 5 students at the same time, and I still meet with them regularly. It's really important that we check in on a weekly basis. We also provide holistic advising. It is not only about coursework that you need to take and research for your thesis and dissertation, it's also about your well-being. So I often ask my students, how are you doing? How is life? Are you stressed? Students that are in our program often receive graduate assistantship, so they have to work 10 to 20 hours a week. They take their own classes and they research, so there is a lot to juggle. Here at the bottom, I have advice that I would like to give it to you when you're preparing your applications now. Go and look at these 11 faculty profiles and identify their research and see which of these faculty will align with your own research interests. And when you are preparing your application, state names of these faculty like 1 to 2 in your application. I'm receiving sometimes emails from students that email all faculty in the program, and that will not really increase the chances for being accepted. Your chances are much higher if you are passionate about your research, whatever you like to do, and then find the faculty that is in the similar area. For the master's program, you don't need to have a confirmation from the faculty that they will work with you. It is good to communicate with them to make that connection, but again, they don't need to commit. You will be assigned advisor by the evaluation committee. For the PhD program, you do need to have faculty that will be committed to work with you. So it's a little bit different for master's and PhD program. So that's, I think, one important advice that I would like to give you. Now, moving on to the application, we just started a little bit ago. For the Masters of Science in Construction Management, deadline is February 1st. So if you want to start in master's program in fall 26, you need to apply by February 1st. And then if you are interested in starting in spring 27, for example, then you can apply by September 15. These deadlines are really firm. We are doing all reviews at the same time for consistency, and especially if you're interested in financial aid, it's important to meet these application deadlines. For the PhD program in civil engineering with focus on construction engineering and management, deadline is a little bit sooner. It's coming in about 3 weeks. So January 1st if you want to start in fall 26, and then October 1st for the spring semesters. So that will be something to keep in mind if you like to start in 26 or 27. In terms of application materials, they're very similar for master's and PhD. There are some little differences that I will spend more time on, but normally you have to have your official transcripts submitted. English proficiency scores, any of these tests will work. Some countries do not have to take English proficiency tests, so you can check that on our website of the grad school. But in general, English proficiency scores are required before you apply. They need to be in before the deadline. You will also need 3 letters of recommendations that could be your professors from your undergraduate program if you're applying for master's, or your undergrad and master's program if you're applying for a PhD. And then if you had work in industry, it's really good to have letter of recommendation from your supervisor from a company. We also need your up-to-date resume. And then these couple of items here, statement of purpose and supplemental questions are crucial. I always say your grades are as they are, your English test scores are as they are. You will get letter of recommendation. You don't have much control over these at this point of time. You did have it throughout your undergrad and master's program, but writing statement of purpose that includes your research interests and responding to our supplemental questions is where you can shine. You can tell us what you think, what are your goals. We can see how you write and how you think. So it's really important that you give significant attention to this part of the application. And I'll spend more time on this in a minute. And unfortunately, there is application fee of $70 that also need to be paid before the application deadline. For the GPA, we expect the GPA of 3.0 on the scale of 4. That's the US system, United States system. We know that around the world there are different grading systems and different GPAs. So we're going to look at that, and our admissions office also tries to translate your GPA system to the American system. Also, sometimes students are coming from schools that are more stringent maybe than Colorado State University. And if student GPA is, for example, 2.9, and we see that students is a really strong applicant, we can write a letter of support to waive this requirement. So for the master's program, statement of purpose is an important document. Depending on your background, we would like to know about your experience from, let's say, engineering or construction or architectural industry experience if you had one, or if not, then talk about your education experience in one of these areas. We also want to know how this experience aligns with your professional goals and what are your long-term professional goals. We are hoping that your goal is not just to finish master's and just to finish PhD and then that's it. You probably have some goals for the next 5 to 10 years after your graduation, so please write about that in your statement of purpose. Also, it's really important for us to understand how completing construction management master's program will contribute to these long-term goals. There are many universities in the United States and around the world, so why did you select Colorado State University? Tell us about that. If you had any previous research experience, for example, you were undergrad research student in somebody's lab, tell us about that too. It's not required, but it's a plus if you already have done some research. And then a last piece, it's really one of the most important ones. Clarify to us what your research interests are for your master's thesis. This doesn't have to be super specific. It doesn't have to be final. Maybe when you come here, you change your idea a little bit, but we want to know what your research interests are and with which faculty you would like to work. In addition to statement of purpose, we also ask some supplemental questions, and all this information is on our website. If you go to the website for the master's program and for prospective students, you will find these questions too. So for supplemental questions, we are curious if you ever faced any professional challenges, and if you did, how did you resolve these challenges and what you learned from that experience? Time management is very important for all of us, so tell us about your time management skills. We have to juggle a lot of different tasks, so how do you do that? Also, we have a section on the courses related to construction management and some other areas like STEM and mathematics and statistics. So identify from your transcript courses that you took that are close to these areas and what grade you earned, and then what was the grading scale at your university. For the PhD program applicants, we also have some supplemental questions more related to research. So for the PhD program, we do require students to complete master's first. And then since you already have done research in your master's program, we want to hear about your previous research experience. And if you work in construction industry or civil engineering industry, or you're an architect, we want to hear about your professional experience too. Also, similar to master's program, please state what are your particular research interests for your PhD dissertation. You're probably curious about specific engineering or science or construction management questions, and you want to specialize your PhD in that area. Similar to master's program, we want to hear about professional challenges that you might have faced and how you resolved them and what did you learn from that experience. And then I already mentioned this earlier for master's program and especially for PhD applicants, what are your long-term professional goals after you complete your PhD program? In terms of funding, this is really important question that we always get from potential students. Once students are admitted, that's at the bottom of the screen. Students need to be first admitted to be considered for the graduate assistant position. And these are two completely separate processes. So you're first admitted to the program and now you're eligible to apply for the GTA or GRA positions. So graduate teaching assistantships are positions where our teaching assistants independently teach undergraduate labs. So these will be classes like graphic communications in which we teach Revit and AutoCAD and SketchUp and manual drafting, plan reading and quantity takeoff, estimating of construction costs, scheduling, and materials. So we have about 10 different positions for the GTAs. They also grade assignments and have office hours for students. So it's a lot of to do, but what is good news is that faculty that are in charge of that course are providing all the material to the graduate assistants, and they are overseeing their work, and they're always there to provide guidance and advice. GTA positions are at 20 hours per week. That's the maximum that is provided. And then graduate research assistantships are completely different. They are meant to help faculty that have research funding and research projects to select students that can help them with these projects. So students will be really working on research. This research can be aligned with student master's or dissertation topic, but it may not, because often if faculty have grants, they need to respond to these grants. So it could be a little bit different than what people are doing for their thesis and dissertation projects. GRAs can be anywhere between 10 to 20 hours per week. It really depends on the need of the faculty. So again, I would just like to emphasize that students need to be admitted to be considered for these positions. And as department identify the need in certain GTA areas, I, as a grad program coordinator, send invitation for application to all the students at the same time for equity purposes. And then for GRA positions, it varies. Faculty can send me advertisement, and I again send it to all the students. And sometimes faculty advertise their positions on, let's say, LinkedIn. So there are different ways to work towards GRA positions. You're also welcome to contact faculty directly to see if they have any availability. In terms of career paths, I would say that we are really fortunate in our program to have a big support of construction industry. Our students at the moment, when it comes to construction industry, are getting multiple offers, and they are highly paid compared to other majors at the university. I think the only major that has higher salaries than us is computer science. So this will be something that to consider if you're completing master's program, maybe even PhD. Like we have some PhD students going into industry. There are so many different sectors you can work in. You can work in commercial buildings, residential buildings, heavy civil, including roads and bridges, industrial sector, so many opportunities for different kind of employment. We are also very fortunate that in our program we have career placement office. We have 2 designated staff members that just work on career placement of our students, and they organize career fair just for construction management. And often this career fair is bigger than university-wide career fair. So we usually have 120 companies for each career fair. This fall, we had 170 companies. We had to open another ballroom to accommodate space-wise these companies. So again, career fairs are in September and February and provide a lot of job opportunities. Economy is still good in the United States, and construction is doing well. For the PhD graduates, there are many faculty positions in the construction management programs. Construction management programs are growing in number of students, so that requires more faculty, and also several faculty will retire, so there's always need for new faculty. So we never had a PhD student that didn't get a job in academia if that's what they wanted. And then also we had recently a couple of PhD graduates who went and worked in consulting area. So I would like to add presentation with few images of our university, and then Fort Collins, where we are housed, and then Colorado. I think I skipped one slide. So these are a few images of Colorado State University. Here on the left side, you can see a little lake that we have in the middle of our campus. It's really beautiful, but it's actually stormwater management system. So it has aesthetic features, but it's also very useful. In the back, you can see the mountains. Here on the upper right side is our oval. It's in the middle of the campus, huge green area with mature trees. And this image is taken somewhere in fall where colors are changing, which is really one of the most beautiful seasons in Colorado. On the lower right side is a music building that also has a large green area in front of it. And every summer we have flower garden, all types of flowers, and this garden is maintained by the students from agriculture and horticulture. And then the lower right side are our buildings that belong to construction management. They are considered historic buildings for the American standards. We have Guggenheim Hall here on the right side, and on the left side, pre-construction building. Pre-construction building is really interesting because we kept this exterior old look, and then inside it's really modern. We have 8 colleges. We have almost 250 graduate programs. We are one of the top universities in the United States. This year we placed second. There were years when we were first in terms of sustainability. We have about 34,000 students total, and of these 34,000, 7,600 are graduate students. This is map of the United States. I always tell this joke. I was accepted at Virginia Tech to do my PhD, and Virginia Tech is in little town called Blacksburg in Virginia, and I couldn't find it on the map when I was still back at home and trying to find where I'm moving. I couldn't find it on the map because it's such a small college town. However, Fort Collins is on the map here. We are in the northern Colorado. We are very close to Wyoming, that is also very beautiful, and then Nebraska. This is Fort Collins, downtown pictures. Every November we have event. It's a lighting of the winter lights. We call it winter lights. They're LED lights, so they're not they're sustainable to a certain extent. And these lights stay on in the downtown until mid-February, until Valentine's Day. So it's really beautiful to walk around downtown in the evening. And these are some other pictures of downtown. There is a story that Walt Disney came to Fort Collins and really liked our downtown, and then asked his architects to design Disney World in California based on the design of Fort Collins downtown. We are, of course, at a high elevation, about 1,500 meters above the sea level, or 5,000 feet. We have a lot of sunshine, right? We are at about more than 300 days of sunshine. Yesterday we had snow, and today is very sunny here. So we are kind of spoiled with sunshine. Even though we're at high elevation, town is very flat, so it's very easy to get around on the bicycle, walking, driving. So that's a big plus. We have 175,000 people. I know around the world this may be considered smaller town. By the United States standards, we are a city, and it's a really nice size because we have a variety of people. It's not just college town and students. We have a lot of companies in town, and also it's a very safe town. We have very low crime levels. We are also proud of having 72 kilometers of the bike trails inside the town. So you can bike, you can hike, you can walk. So you can get anywhere in town because they're all connected via these bike trails. So these are some images of the bike trails on the left side. The lower left side shows, again, fall season. And then on the west side of the town, more towards the mountains, we have this man-made lake that people use to swim in summer or sail. So it's really beautiful area. And more towards the west, you can see these rocks and this green area. It's a Lowry State Park that provides a lot of opportunities for recreation and picnics and hiking. For Colorado, if you're into skiing, we have a lot of skiing resorts. They're very popular in the United States and internationally. So during the winter time, a great recreational opportunity. In summer, in the same areas, you can camp. If you like hot springs, there are several hot springs in Colorado and in Wyoming. And you can see here picture from winter. Water is probably 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's cold outside, so you can imagine that experience. We also have these Asian dwellings just south of Fort Collins, maybe a couple of hours, close to Colorado Springs, if you like to explore that. If you're into rodeo, we do have rodeo here in Colorado and Wyoming. We have very active international office who provides a lot of little trips for our international students, and one of them is also rodeo in Wyoming, which is maybe 1 hour away from us, not too far. If you like arts and architecture, here on the lower left side is an art museum in Denver designed by Daniel Limpskin, very famous architect, and it's built by Saunders Construction, who is a big supporter of our program. So beautiful building, and then really interesting exhibitions that are happening regularly in this building. On the upper right side, we have Red Rocks Amphitheater, where we have a lot of concerts. And then on the lower right side is our zoo in Denver.